Hey yo, what's up YouTube? DPD19 back here again with another video. Today we're going to be focusing on stuff like platform arbitrage and differences in prices between platforms, just because I've seen some people say certain things in the comments. So it's like, all right, let's make a video out of it. Some people gave me an idea whether they're positive or negative about it. Just gave me some ideas to go over and talk about with you guys. And it's something that I've seen people argue about in the past, so just trying to go over my perspective on it. Before I do go over any of that though, I just want to say thank you to anyone that's watched so far. I expected no one to see my dead YouTube channel, and whether the positive or negative, you guys still, showing support and whatnot. Love the positivity from some people sending me private messages, just giving me certain feedback and whatnot. And then you also got the negative people, which, to be honest, I like it more than the positive, just because it's kind of funny to me and entertaining. Especially knowing that, hey, you don't agree with what I say, you don't like what I say, or you don't like the shit that I'm doing in terms of the videos, and you're still watching though. So it's just funny to me that I'm still taking up time in someone's day that don't want to listen to this shit. So if I see those same people commenting on this video, another video, it's just gonna put a smile on my face at the end of the day. It's just funny how that shit works. Do something that makes you happy, not listen to my fucking voice if you don't want to hear it. Anyway, so what we're gonna talk about today is what a lot of people say is, oh, TCGPlayer has uh, the price has gone skyrocketed down, whatnot. Everything's skyrocketed. CN1 is selling for $1 a hollow, and a lot of that is just, kind of bullshit. It doesn't mean it's market, because whatnot has been for the last 6 to 8 months basically a place where you can get cheaper cards, especially when you auction them. If you start anything at $1 start, whether it's YouTube, not YouTube, Jesus Christ, whether it's eBay or on whatnot, you're gonna get less than if you put it for, say, a buy it now. For example, on whatnot, you see all these people doing dollar starts, and even decent cards are selling for, a $5-10 card selling for $1. Well, part of the reason is because you have about like $4 shipping plus taxes on your first purchase. So if that first purchase isn't worth it, or you don't know if you're going to buy from that seller more than one or two things, it's not worth paying that shipping cost up front. So if a card's like a $10 card, and after shipping and paying $1, you pay like $5-6 for that $10 card. Makes sense from a buyer's perspective, but from a seller's perspective, they kind of get shafted, because they get, I think it's like 50 some cents or like 63 cents. I never did the actual math. I just know from a lot of people saying it, from my own stuff on whatnot. You have like a 30 cent fee, kind of like PayPal, per transaction. And then you have the 13%. So let's say around like 63 cents. Anyone in the comments, if you remember, know the exact price, just let me know. But in terms of the differences on whatnot, when you see some sellers will do buy it nows, and they'll only have stuff in the buy it now. They'll almost never do auctions, and they still sell items. There's some people that do amazing, and part of it is due to how they are as a person, how they act with others, how they're with the community, how they've built this kind of ecosystem around them, and people buy from them because they trust them. They know that they're not going to screw them over, and they know what they're getting. You pay a premium for that level of comfort, which makes sense at the end of the day. Same thing on eBay. You see people like in the Pokemon atmosphere, with TCA Gaming. People will spend more money with him because they respect him in the hobby. They know who he is. They know that he's not going to fuck them over. So they'll pay that premium. So that's what it kind of happens on whatnot with certain people. And no matter what, putting stuff in a buy it now on whatnot is going to get you more money. It's just how it works. Sometimes auctions do go above buy it nows. It's been very rare the last 6 to 8 months, whether it's eBay or whatnot, but it happens sometimes. I see it depending on the seller. If you have a huge following, then yeah, some cards you'll get a premium that you probably shouldn't have. Other cards, you might get shafted. Just how it works. You run auctions, you run that risk. So even if a CN1 card ends for $1, let's say, fuck, I don't know, not Uncle Sam, Hodag. A Hodag CN1 first edition ends for $1 plus the shipping, but the buyer only pays $1 for that card technically. Let's say they already paid shipping, $1 plus taxes. That same card I've sold on eBay multiple times for around $5-6 after the letter. So which one is market price? Is it the $5-6 sale or the $1 sale you saw on Whatnot? Like a huge part of it is eyeballs on the cards, on the product. If you have 30 people in a Whatnot stream versus thousands of people on eBay looking for certain things, you're gonna get that premium. You're gonna get better sales, more money for your shit on eBay than Whatnot. And that's just how it is. Especially with auctions, Whatnot, the one thing that Whatnot is able to thrive on is how quickly they end. So a lot of people aren't able to look up certain cards, comps, whether on eBay or TCGPlayer, if they don't know what it is. They might end up overspending, not knowing what it is. That's one of the benefits, especially when you have sudden death, which is just, you set a timer and then it ends once it hits 0. There's no raising the timer back up to 10 seconds if someone bids. It just ends when it ends. And there's positives and negatives about that. But on eBay, you'll see the same thing. Buy it nows will always get a premium. Not always, but mostly get a premium than auctions on eBay and other platforms. They'll usually get a lot more eyes on it, and you're always going to see it's just sell somewhat quicker. You know, Whatnot's good for getting rid of shit. eBay is good for, if you're fine with keeping it there for a while, then it'll most likely sell eventually. As long as you're somewhat competitive with your pricing, then it'll sell at some point. And with eBay, auctions tend to go before, let's talk about before the letter first. Before the letter, you typically see stuff go anywhere from 30 to 35% to around like 60% of what buy it nows would go for. And that's just how it is with Metazoo, but there's other TCGs like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I'll get like 50% of something if I put it in an auction than what it last sold for a buy it now. That's just how TCG space works, especially when you don't see shit at the right times, you don't have money at the right times. It's what happens when you're on an auction. So on eBay, even with eBay, people will be like, oh, well, on TCGPlayer, it's, you know, this card sells for $2, it's skyrocketed down. I don't really give a shit what's on TCGPlayer. If I'm selling on eBay, if last sold on eBay was this price, why do I give a shit what's on TCGPlayer? Why do I give a shit what happens on Whatnot? Like, those are, for those platforms, yes, it's, you know, something to gauge a price on, but when you have multiple last solds, why is it always buyers like to say, or people speculating, oh, this is market because it's lower? That's a load of bullshit. It makes no sense. Even when someone's negotiating with you, with a seller, they always want to point out the lowest sale, not the highest one. If you sell for something at a high, people don't want to, Jesus Christ, David, speak English. They want to ignore that part of the data. They don't want to say anything about it. For example, I don't know, let's say a drop bear. It sold for a PSA 10 for like $100. The week prior, I sold a sealed one for $200 and I sold one for $160. So which one is market? The one where somebody wanted to dump their shit and didn't care as much for the price? Or the person that waited and he got what he got? And that's another thing you can't control. Even with last solds, there's context in so many sales. And people want to ignore that. If someone's blatantly dumping something and they just want to get rid of it, they don't care if they get 50% of last sold, 30% of last sold, that has nothing to do with it being market. If a native box sells for 50, 60 bucks all day long on eBay and one person just dumps a shit ton for 20, 25 bucks a piece, That doesn't, and they all sell, that does not mean that it is market price. It's just idiotic how a lot of people look at data and they want to ignore certain things. They want to ignore context, ignore how something got a price. Oh, last sold for this card was $50. It's not worth $150. Was it an auction or was it a buy it now? Was it on eBay? Was it on TCGPlayer? Was it on whatnot? These are all valid questions and have to do with why a certain card got the price it got. And a lot of people just want to ignore that. They see one thing sell and they say, oh, that's the market for the price. Everything's tanking. Everything that you're showing your cards, they've all tanked in price on TCGPlayer. TCGPlayer has never gotten a fucking premium for Metazoo cards. When has that ever happened? There might be some exceptions, but when has that fucking normally happened? I looked the other day, a card from Disclosure 2.0, no, Disclosure 1.0 pages. Pages or files, either or. Got sold for $50. While previously they were selling for, before the letter, around 200. And even recently, I didn't look up the past sales recently, but I think one sold for around like 100, 120 on eBay. So which one is market price? The $50 one, a TCGPlayer that fuck all looks at and is extremely difficult to see anything that is newly listed? Or is it the sale on eBay? Metazoo content creator medals is another great example. What's the best? Where do you gauge the price on? The ones that sold for 100 on TCGPlayer that someone dumped, or the ones on eBay that have sold for no less than 200? People like to ignore context so fucking much and like to argue, and if then their point is disproven, then they want to move to something else. Oh, well, this card's like this likes this part of the market's like this. It's just how a lot of people work. You want to be negative, you're going to find a way to be negative. You're going to be positive, you're going to find a way to be positive. It's just how it works. And even now today, I can buy stuff on whatnot still, bring it to eBay, and make money off of it. I can, get 50% margin, some stuff 100% margin, some stuff 200, 300% margins. It depends on who's watching those auctions on whatnot and what price you can get it at. There's platform arbitrage on all three of them. You can buy something on eBay to sell on whatnot for more. That's a lot less likely, but it's happened before. You can do the same with TCGPlayer. I've bought tons of stuff before in TCGPlayer and resold it on eBay and made money. A lot of times doubled my money or more. So why is TCGPlayer, some of these people just want to be like, oh, this is market price, everything's skyrocketing, look at this. There's less eyes on it. There's no international buyers on TCGPlayer unless you have an American address. There's so many factors that people want to fucking ignore. And it's just like, I'm not trying to fucking argue with people about it, because if you want to have that thought in your head, go ahead. Go. I don't give a shit. Go ahead. I'm making this video to kind of explain to some people, hey, this is how it works. Is the market down right now due to the letter? Yes, everything's down to an extent. I still haven't really changed prices much because I'm not trying to go through 1,300 cards. I did recently a 20% sale and already sold an extra 6-7 cards within, I don't know, last few hours. So it's one of those things where, yeah, stuff has gone down 20-30%, some stuff 40-50, but they're still selling. They're still doing well, and it all depends on what card it is. Also depends on who's dumping it for what price. I cannot control what other sellers dump shit for. Other buyers and other sellers can't control what people dump shit for, what people bid on. There's been so many times on auctions on eBay where I see items that sell for stupid low before, and I'm like, fuck, I would have paid an extra $30, $40, $50. I would have paid an extra $100. I have friends that say the same. There's some cards where you'll have 7, 8 people be like, fuck, I would have spent more money if I had seen it. And other people just don't have the money at the time. On whatnot in auctions, people don't have the money at the time, or they want to be selective, which is fine. Look at the market how it is now. I get it. You want to be cautious. but people want to only pick one marketplace and say that is market price. That's bullshit. And I feel like I'm rambling at this point, and I'm kind of just going back and forth. So I'm probably gonna end it right about there. Just know there is always context into every sale, whether on Whatnot, whether on TCGPlayer, or on eBay. If, for example, a not a drop bear, let me use a different one. Fuck it, we'll use drop bear. The ambassador promo drop bear. Let's say it goes on to Whatnot. Someone dollar starts it with only 5 people or 10 people or 15 people in their live, and they sell it for $40. Someone on eBay sells the same card in auction, it goes for $100. Someone on TCGPlayer puts up a buy it now of $80, it sells. Someone puts as a buy it now on eBay and that sells for $150. Which one are you going to say is market price? The one that was the cheapest and ignore context? TCGPlayer, where there's less views, but someone saw a great deal? Or eBay, where you're going to have the most eyes, the most views, and a lot of people just like buying buy it now is better. They don't want to wait for an auction because you don't know some cards when they're going to get another auction, even with all the dumping. You have no idea. So we'll kind of end it right there. If you guys have any questions or comments about it, feel free to leave it down below. If you want to argue about no TCGPlayer is what market is for Metazoo, then have fun talking to yourself, because I'm not going to fucking acknowledge it. It's just going to be funny. Maybe I'll just react with a laughing emoji. I got no idea. But it's always entertaining seeing people point out to low list of something or one single sale and act like that dictates everything. It's amusing. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.